Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If we have not met, my name is Carrie Gilletto, and I am one of Heartfelt Creations online educators. And today we are going to be taking a look at the newly released Ornate Peacock Collection. This has been a highly anticipated collection that so many of you have been asking for and looking forward to, and we are so happy to finally be releasing this incredible collection. So let's go ahead and change our camera view and take a look at what we're going to make today. Okay, so here is the card that we're going to be making together today. It's a unique card that has some shape to it, and we're going to learn to make this, but I'm going to focus a little bit on coloring these beautiful images in the new collection. So let's go ahead and set this aside and take a look at our collection. So in the Ornate Peacock Collection, the first is this beautiful ornate peacock. And here it comes with, hold on just one second. I want to make sure that I am in the right place. If you could, there we go. Okay, if you could go ahead and pop in there in the chat and say hello, that will help me. Just go ahead and let me know where you're watching from, and we would love to hear what you're loving about this new collection. Let me know what you think of the ornate peacock. So isn't this just a beautiful peacock with its beautiful tail? Just so lovely. And then it also comes with the ornate window, which is such a great addition. You know, we've had other windows in different collections that have kind of different shapes, but this one just really reminds me of maybe antique or rustic, but it can also, you can make it kind of have a stone look and maybe go like more like a European ruins or city. There's just so many looks you can give this window, and I just love that. And then of course we have our supporting piece here of the peacock and posies, which comes with another little bird, a peacock, and some floral sprays. And you may have noticed that the peacocks in this collection can kind of look the different way. They kind of can be used together there. So that's a neat addition. So all right, let's go ahead and get started. So as you can see for our card, we need quite a bit of these different images. So we are going to stamp on our flower shaping paper today, and I stamped everything in a dark blue. Now this one is the night sky. You may have cobalt blue or some of the other Ranger archival inks that are this dark blue, and that's what I chose to stamp mine in. So for our card, you're going to need one of this, two of this, and one of this one. And then from this set, you're going to need one of the large peacock, and you're going to need two of this little floral spray. So what I stamped for my card, that's what I stamped, but what I'm stamping for us to use, is, for me to show you, I just stamped a couple. Okay, and then for your window stamp, for our ornate window, I'm going to give this window a nice wooden look, so I stamped mine in the coffee, just the window, and I just did the whole thing. Okay, so let's take a look at coloring these beautiful peacocks. I'm going to start with the Paradise Teal ink. And this is the method that I used to color all these images. Hello, good morning, Karen and Clarabelle. Oh, hello, Lorna and Randy. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Lorna. I appreciate that. I had so much fun coloring these images and playing with them. They're just beautiful. So let me know there in the comments what you're thinking about this new collection. Okay, so I like to put just the tip into the ink, and then I tap off. And I mean just tap off on the side to get the heaviest ink off. And then I'm just going to lightly, starting right down here in the tail, I'm going to color just a little bit of this teal, pulling it out towards his body. And I'm going to stop right about his neck. except for right here where the little dots are on his neck, I'm going to put just a little bit of the Paradise Teal. Then all these little sprays and this feathery piece, I'm going to make that have the Paradise Teal as well. So just like this. All right. I'm going to do the same thing to this one down here, just right here where that feathery piece is and all the little swirls that come out. I'm going to add a little bit of the Paradise Teal. All right, and I'm doing this very kind of light-handed. And I did this method to all of the images. Next, I'm going to come in with some sunflower, and the same thing. I'm going to get some ink on the tip. And all of these little peacock feather kind of circular rounded tips, I'm going to add some sunflower to each of those. Now I didn't tap off with the yellow. I went ahead and just let that be what's on my ink. There we go. See what I'm doing there? And you know, you can turn your paper, and the way you angle your dauber just really helps to get those colored down in there. Okay, so once we're done with that, hello Brenda. So how has everything been where you live? Have you been having good weather, or is it still a little crazy all across the U.S.? We've had some crazy weather here in Texas, lots of storms and things like that. So the next color that we're going to use is the cactus flower. And I'm going to come in, and again, I'll tap off just a little bit, but then I'm going to lightly add some color to all of the flowers, all of my little posies. We're going to add some of the cactus flower. And I'm going to turn my paper because I don't want to get purple on his body. So I'm going to turn my paper to give me a better chance of not getting the cactus flower on his body. All right. All right, so that's all I'm going to add there. And now for the very last color, I'm going to come in with some chartreuse green. It's supposed to get 64 in California. That's kind of cold for you guys, isn't it? We've been it's been cold in Texas. I know I said that last time too. It just has been. So with the chartreuse, the vivid chartreuse, all of these little sprays of green around, I'm going to add the chartreuse. And again, with just like the yellow, I'm not going to tap off on this one. But once I've touched those, what's left on my dauber, I'm going to kind of blend out and mixing with that Paradise Teal that I put on his body. I'm going to just blend that out and put a little green up on his body. All right. So there we go. Once I got them to this, I'm going to stop and we will go on to our window. So for the window, I'm going to use two colors. I'm going to use the sunflower and the coffee, and I'm going to start with the sunflower. And on just randomly, I'm going to add some sunflower to every place that I think maybe the light would hit. Just more random. Just adding that sunflower in there, and that's just going to give us some blend. And then to finish this one off, hello. We've got people just popping in from all over. It's great to see you. Hello. Thanks for joining me today. Today we're using our Ornate Peacock Collection. So once you get some coffee on your dauber, we'll just start at the corner so your darker is there, and then we're just going to blend all that together. Running that coffee color, and I like to make right where the hinges are, maybe a little darker. I'm just going to bring that coffee all the way around, blending that out. All right, so once we get that all blended, we can go ahead and do our die cutting. And when you die cut the window, let me go ahead and the dies for the window come like this. You have these different pieces. So for this window, you're going to use this one. and you're going to use this one, okay? And this is how you're going to die cut this window, and that's going to give you this piece right here. And I came back around with my coffee and I inked the edges and put a few darker spots in there to give it a nice aged wooden look. Okay, so once you have that, go ahead and set that aside. And of course you can die cut all of your beautiful peacocks that you have colored up. All right, so once you've die cut your peacock, they're going to look like this. And that's beautiful. You could leave them just like this. But I decided to come in, whoops, with a few, I've hidden my pencils, but I came in with a few colored pencils and gave a bit of extra shading to my peacock. Hello, Lucille. It's good to see ya. So I'm going to take some, like a teal color and just back here around his feathers, you know, just give that a little bit more shading down in there where I think it needs to be. Then I'm going to come in with some Paradise Teal and right in, or not Paradise Teal, this is just a teal pencil, sorry, and add some more shading. With some very dark yellow just down here at the tips, I'm going to add a little bit of yellow shadow down there at the base. And then the most important one I think is on the posies. And I took a darker purple pencil and I just added some dark shading just right in the center of each of my posies. All right. So there you go. Now the one thing I did do also on my all of my peacocks, on all the little tail feathers that look like this, I came back around with the cactus flower and added a little bit of shading. Just on those little tips. And on all the different peacocks in the collection that had this shape to it, I added that on there. Okay, there we go. All right. Now, I did also with my yellow pencil, I added a little bit of yellow to his beak. So this got my peacock ready for finishing off the flowers. And to finish off the flowers, I used the Nuvo drops, and I added a little dot of the Nuvo drops into the center of each flower. Now you do have to give these some time to dry. So I have gone ahead and already colored some up that we're going to use today. Now the last thing I did for my peacocks is I brushed them using a paintbrush. I painted their bodies with the crystal lacquer and sprinkled them with glitter. And I also did all of the yellow parts. I added some lacquer and glitter, and I did that to all of my pieces, as you can see right here. Okay. So we'll go ahead and set this one aside because his little flowers are still wet. Okay. All right, so this is how I colored all of my peacocks, and you can see them right here. I just love these images and love how quick and easy they color up. I think utilizing the colored pencils with your inks kind of makes you look like a colorist, even though you may not be. So once we get these done and we have our window, this will be all of our pieces from the collection that we're going to use on today's card. So, okay, once we have that all done and cut out, you can go ahead and set these aside. Okay, to make our card today, we're going to use two different collections. Get this out. The paper pad for the Ornate Peacock is lovely, and it's going to coordinate with so many of the sets that have come out recently. So today we're going to be using, let me see if I can find it, this one right here. And you're going to be cutting your image from this corner right down here. And then we're also going to be using this teal blue piece. Now, if you wanted to use this piece or this piece, you could. You could really use the corner of lots of these different ones if you wanted to give it a different shade. All right, and then we're also going to take one piece from the Countryside Cottage collection. And in this collection, let's see see here, I think I pulled it. You have this piece right here that has the 4 seasons. You have like summer, spring, winter, and fall with the little cottage look. You're going to choose one of these little cottages. I believe in my original I use this, but today I'm going to be using this one. But you can really choose any of these that you want to use. And just cut the 6x6 for now of that. That's all you need. So the next thing we're going to do to finish off or to create our card base, you need 2 strips of white, and my camera may go wonky when I put this white in there, but you need 2 pieces of white that measure 7 by 12. Okay. And on both of these pieces, you're going to get out your scoreboard. I was just reading someone's comment about the daubers. Yes. Okay. Yes, thank you so much. I wasn't sure what she was asking there. My computer is giving it to me in a different language, so I couldn't tell. All right, now when you get your scoreboard out, we're going to score one piece along the 12-inch side. You're going to score it at 3 and 6. And if you have a large scoreboard, you'll score again at 9. If you have a small one like me, you're going to flip it around and score it at 3 again. But you want it scored at 3 inches, 6 inches, and 9 inches. All right? So once you get both of your pieces need to be scored like this, we are going to take, out of that solid blue piece that I showed you, you're going to cut a piece that measures 5 3/4 by 6 3/4. All right? So it's going to be 5 3/4 by 6 3/4, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to glue that down right here. And when I glue it down, at this point I used repositionable tape, and I'll show you why in a moment. But to do that, I'm going to use repositionable tape just a little bit, and I'm going to position this just exactly where I want it between the 2 score lines that are 3 inches. All right, so you're right in that center is where you're going to score that or place that. Now we're going to take this piece from the window die, and we're going to position it right where we want that window to be. Now, you want to try to center it on there, but I like to put mine so that I have some room down here, but not so tall that my top is hanging off the top of the card. I wanted it positioned about right here. So I went ahead and taped that down and ran this through my die cut machine, okay? And so when that comes out, you're going to have this right here. So now that you have this right here, we're going to get out our scoreboard again and lay this on here, and you're going to score it again at the 6 mark. Okay, making sure that this new piece that you just cut has a nice score line in it. Isn't it a beautiful blue? I just love the colors. They're so peacock, you know, they just are so many blues and teals, and they're so rich. They're just beautiful. So now we're going to go ahead and fold that and score that. And we can go ahead, and we used repositionable tape, but we can go ahead and glue this down. There's my glue. It's hiding from me. So has everybody been finding some time to craft lately? What kinds of things have you been making? We love to know what kinds of things you're making. Are you making cards or home decor? Those of you that share your creations on Facebook, we just thank you so much. They're so encouraging to us. We love seeing what everyone's making. All right, so I like to fold it just a little bit like this, and then now I'm going to line up those score lines that I had before, making sure that my window is all lined up. And we'll glue that down. Now, I want to be sure that it'll fold, so I'm going to give it. Now you have to kind of let that shift down there. I got a little bit of a wrinkle, but that's okay. All right, so once we get that down and we're sure that it's going to fold, we have the front of our card. So we're going to go ahead and set this one aside. Oh, you're doing Valentine's Day cards. Oh, someone posted such a fun video on Facebook about their Valentine's cards. Okay, so the next one, we're going to do that again. We're going to add our little, we're just going to fold that right here so we have our crease. And then our cottage picture that we did before, we want to position this on here. Let's get our scoreboard out and go ahead and score this real quickly. We're going to score this at the 3 mark. There it is. Is that what I want? Well, yeah. Right. Well, you know what? I'm not going to score this quite yet because I've trimmed it down. It's not exactly right. So the key here is we want to lay this piece over the top. If we just center this in here, you run the risk of not being able to see your cottage. So basically what we want to do is lay this on here, and we're going to play around with it to get our cottage kind of where we want it. Does that make sense? So as long as it stays within that section, you might have to trim it up. But I kind of want my cottage about right there. All right, so you can see on this one, my cottage was further over to the right. That's because I used a different piece. But because of this one, the way it's positioned, I'm going to have to trim it down a little bit. But that's okay. All right, so I'm just going to make a little mark there where I need to trim it. And I'm just going to freehand it because this is going to be on the background. You're not going to see this so much. Now, I'm just going to trim this up. And position it right where I can see my, yes, I like it right there. Okay. Just going to make a little mark so I can see where I want to put it, and we're going to glue down. All right. About right there. All right, so right away, I'm going to go ahead and fold this. Now, if you wanted to get your scoreboard out, you could go ahead and score it again, but I'm just going to do it with my fingers. There we go, because this is going to be your piece that's inside your window, so it's going to be just fine. Okay, so right in there, we've got our window piece. So now we can fold these flaps back like this. So this one's going to be folded this way, and once we have that done, we can go ahead and set that one aside. So let's bring this one out again, and for this one, we're going to fold these up instead of back. You're going to fold them forward. So just like that. Does that make sense? Okay. Out of our blue piece, you're going to get, out of the solid blue piece, it's a little bit darker than our centerpiece. I cut 2 that measure 2 3/4 by 6 3/4. And we are going to glue those down right on our side panels right like this. Okay, so you can go ahead and do that. So if you are an insider member, you were able to have access to this collection a few days ago. So has anyone already received their Peacock collection? And if so, what do you see yourself, what kind of cards are you going to make with your Peacock collection? I was thinking of different things that I could do with these. And to me, peacocks can be, you know, they're kind of I think of them being kind of like a proud, strutting your stuff. So they can be great for like congratulations cards and best wishes cards. They can also, I think of them as being kind of a serene, calming blues, things like that. So I was thinking they would be great for, oh, just sympathy and encouragement. I was just really brainstorming the different ways I was going to use some peacocks in my cards. Okay, so now that we have it at this point, we're going to go ahead and set that aside, and we're going to work on our window a little bit. So I have a piece of acetate here, and it will be kind of hard to see on the camera, but you can kind of see it there. And I've done this trick before, but I'm going to take my die, and I'm going to gently tape it on there. Then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut around my die. I don't want to cut the die itself. I'm just going to cut around it, leaving a nice big edge. And we're going to put this inside of our window. See how I did that? So I left a nice wide edge there. Let's see. Sometimes if I put a piece of paper under it, you can see it better. There you go. You kind of see that. All right, and this is just to get it so it fits inside my window there. Okay. And that just gives me a guide to make sure I'm getting it the right size. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of double-sided adhesive. And for your double-sided adhesive, you don't really need a lot. Just we're not making a shaker out of this, so, and it's not being popped up, so it's not as important to make sure you get it all you know, solid covered, because we're not going to, it's just going to be attached to our card. So you just want that to adhere real well so it stays in place. All right, so once we get our acetate attached, there we go. All right, so I'm going to pull out that scoreboard one more time, and we're going to put a score. I'm going to line up the tip right here, and I'm just using the 2 because that's easy, and I'm just going to score right down the center of that window. And we'll go ahead and fold. Now you have to kind of work to get that acetate to bend, but it does a pretty good job. So go ahead and put that fold right in there along that acetate to give a shape to your window. And we are ready to construct our card. So we have our base piece and we have our top piece, and I like to start with one side. I'm going to add glue to one side and line that up, and then I'll add the other side. So we're just putting glue on this one panel, and I'm going to line up my edges. It's important to get that straight because you want this side to line up. And burnish that real well. And now we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Fold that back and add our glue to this side. Whoops. Bring that back over, and we're just going to line up this side. Oops, I got that a little crooked. There we go. All right. Burnish this one down, and there we go. Look at that. So you have your shaped card there with your window. So the first thing we're going to attach is our window. And you can do this with, you know what? I have my acetate. You can do this with glue. If you cut your acetate small enough, you can run your glue around the outer edge so it's with the paper. But mine, my acetate's a little large. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of this double-sided adhesive on there again. I find that the double-sided adhesive holds my acetate a little better on alive than glue, just because I don't want to sit here and wait on it to dry. You'd have to hold it there for a while and make sure it dries. I don't want my window shifting around on me while I'm talking to you. So does anybody have any questions about how I created this one? All right, here we go. Whoops, got an extra piece. Now for this particular card, I didn't add extra flowers, but on some of the others that I made, I added some posies or some of the tiny little flowers that are in different collections. I added some of those in and amongst the tails, and um, I saw some of the design team members had added even, you know, bigger flowers down in the tails. Just so many beautiful ideas. Always so inspired by what everybody comes up with. So there we go. We're just going to add our window right on top there. Whoops. Okay, so once we get our window attached, and you can kind of see that acetate like you're looking through a window, we are ready to add our peacocks. All right. Okay, I have not, can someone pop in there with a chat? My feed has kind of stopped, and I just want to make sure that everything is still good. So can somebody, give me a thumbs up or a heart in there so I know it's still working good. All right, so now that we have this point, we're ready to add our beautiful peacocks. Okay, so to start with, we're going to start with this beautiful peacock over here, and I'll put it on this side. Now, this peacock, I like to line him up so that his body is kind of straight. Instead of worrying about where his tail is, rather than having him sitting cockeyed like this or kind of more this way, I like to imagine that he's sitting on something and he's upright. So that's how I positioned him. Now I'm going to use a little bit of, oh good, Lorna says I'm still going good. Okay, thank you. Sometimes I never trust myself with computers. Thank you, Carlene, lots of you. Thank you. All right, now if you wanted to, you could certainly take your deluxe flower shaping kit and your tool and add shape to your peacocks. I'm going to go ahead and get him attached. And I'm going to put him right about here, because I have some other things I'm going to add up above. So about right here. And before I go any further, I'm going to go ahead and pull out the sentiment set that we're using today. I made this card a birthday card, so I'm using Hope Your Day is as special as you are and the happy birthday. And for the Hope Your Day is special, I'm using the circle sets. I believe I used both of the circle sets and the set that has the eyelet circles in it. I used all three of those different sets to make this combination right here. So there's the circle basic large, the circle basic small, and then there's an ornate die that has the eyelets in. I used all three of those to make this combination. And I stamped it in the cactus flower, both of my sentiments. And I also stamped the little happy birthday in one of the tags that are in the tag set. And I cut a second tag out of the purple paper. And this was just a piece of paper that's in the Peacock paper collection. It's that beautiful purple one. And this was just, I wanted to bring out the colors of my posies in there. So this is going to be our sentiments. Let me see how to do that. Okay, so I went ahead and just glued this piece. Thank you. I just glued this piece right down, and then I popped this one up. And for these two, I just added a little bit of glue, and then I offset it just a little bit so you could see that pretty fuchsia color coming out from under the happy birthday tag. Okay. All right. So I'll go ahead and pop this one up real quick if I can see what I did with my phone, which I do not, so I'll get some more. There it is. Okay. I went ahead and did my sentiments because before I position all of my peacocks, I wanted to kind of have an idea of where my sentiments were going to be, just so I could get those on in the right places. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add glue to this 1/2 because I know that this is going to hang off the side just a little bit. And I'm going to put him about right here. Okay. For this one, I'm only adding glue right at the top because I want to be able to tuck flowers in there. And I'm tucking this just right behind his head so that you don't see the little circle anymore. All right. There we go. Now the last thing I'm going to do is position my other decorative collection. Look at all these beautiful pieces we have to work with. I just love that. Now these two, I'm going to add in opposite directions. So I want this beautiful curl to come down on this side, but then I turned it around like this to be on the other side. And I kind of, did I do that the wrong way? I did. Sorry. Opposite. Opposite of that. There we go. Now she's talking. Okay. Just like that. I wanted this flower to kind of be towards the top with a curl. And this one. Boy, I'm having... How did I do that? Oh, I see how I did. This one's like this. This one's like this. I added another one. So I didn't opposite those. I'm sorry. I was confused on what I did. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and attach this one with a little piece of foam. All these beautiful curlicues, sometimes it's a little hard to see how you did it. There we go. Going to add just a little bit of foam, and I just added the foam right on the back of this one flower. That way the curls, and you can certainly go in and add plenty of dimension to these swirls and curls. Now on this one, I just glued him straight down. And again, I just added my adhesive right on the flower. There we go. All right, now on this shape, it kind of has a nice shape to go right at the top of your window, but for my card, I went ahead and cut this piece into multiple pieces. So I just trimmed right around these flowers and trimmed off any excess. And that's how I got this look right up here. I tucked this one right in here under this flower. I can, just like that. So that's how I got that look up at the top. I added him in there. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. There you go. Just to add a different look on this side. There we go. And now we're ready for this beautiful guy. He's going to sit right down here at the window. And I just added the adhesive straight to his body and set him right down here at the base of the window, like he's just looking in that window or looking out the window at that beautiful cottage outside. So, and the way I positioned this paper on here was to have this design in the paper to kind of work for me to balance that out. And now for this one. This other little shape, we're going to put it right over here. And I put it kind of up on the sentiment. But it's so fun to play with these swirls and get them all kind of how you like them. You certainly don't have to arrange them exactly like me. It was so fun to just kind of tuck little pretties in where I thought they would work best. So this little piece that came from over there, I'm going to add it right down here. And I kind of tucked him kind of up and under. And then this last one that I have, I'm going to cut that one apart as well. And on this one, I cut it a little bit differently. I cut both of them off instead of just one. You'll see. So you never want to forget the option you have of snipping, because you can make so many different shapes by snipping them apart like this. So one of these I'm going to add over here on my tags. And then this leftover flower that I have here, I'm going to add just a little bit of foam behind him. Whoops. There we go. And I'm going to add him right up here next to this one, kind of overlaying him by the sentiment that says happy birthday. Hopefully you can see that. Now, our very last little piece over here, I'm going to tuck him in over here. Is that what I did with him? Yeah. So he's just going to add in over here. And I believe on this one, I did cut off some of the flourish part on the back, and I just used the little flower. And I glued it in right next to this pretty piece right over here. Just so that all my pieces kind of have a different look to them. So there you go. Here is our pop-up card. Now I wanted to show you one thing about this card design. I like to take a little tea light, and I'm going to go ahead and leave it laying down, but if it's in like you won't be able to see it very well because of my lights in here, but when you set this up, it has a little tea light in there, and it's just beautiful sitting on a mantle or on a shelf. It kind of has that nice little glow in there and the flickering light, and you can just see that cottage, and it really just brings your peacocks to life to have that pretty beautiful glow inside the window. So I know you just can't see it very well in the camera, but in a little bit darker situation, it really is pretty. So this is a really nice card. Now you may think, how do I mail something like this? Well, you can fold it like this to pop it in an envelope. Of course, you would have to make a custom envelope size, or maybe like a manila envelope size. And then you can also do it this way if you want your happy birthday to be on front. But that does fold up very nicely. And this is just a fun card design to showcase a beautiful window like this. So, okay. I'm going to go ahead and, oh, thank you for the thumbs up. All right, I'm going to go ahead and switch my camera back. Here we go. All right, well, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed making this card. It's a little bit different shape than I normally do, but it can be a fun option when you want to showcase a beautiful accent piece like a window or something like that you look through. So I hope you're loving the new Ornate Peacock Collection. It really is fun. I hope the coloring ideas help you kind of color that up when you get it. I do want to remind you that we have a special event coming up in February. It is on Valentine's Day, so definitely keep an eye out on the Facebook page because more information is going to be coming out about that. And we would love to have you join us on Valentine's Day for some special just crafting events. So well, look forward to that. All right. The I Want It All collection is available through the weekend while supplies last. So if you do not have your Ornate Peacock collection on the way, I encourage you to hop on over there to the website at heartfeltcreation.com and take a look at that Ornate collection. Pop that in your basket and get it on the way. You're going to have so much fun. All right, well, thank you so much for crafting with me. I hope you have a lovely day, and I look forward to crafting with you again soon. Thank you so much.